Hi, Pisces. Hope you guys are all doing really, really well. My name is Brian. I am your queer psychic bestie, and I have a reading for you. This is going to be a monthly forecast for you, the sign of Pisces. So, if you are a Pisces, if you vibe with Pisces, if you're a cross watcher, whatever the deal may be for you, this reading may resonate for you, with you. As always, take what resonates and leave what doesn't. If you would like to book a personal reading with me, you can do that through email or form submission on my website. Pisces, we are going to be doing a Celtic cross for you for the month of August. I can't believe we're already in August. So this is just going to be a monthly overlook of everything going on for you. You know, it's really like, I describe a Celtic cross as like a magnifying glass over your whole life. So that's kind of what we are doing today. So without further ado, let's get all the cards out and we will get into it. Okay, let me just move my mouse so it doesn't interfere. Okay, interesting. The first thing that's coming through for you guys is a movie. It's a very interesting movie. I think it's a bit creepy. I don't really like the movie. But it's Coraline. I haven't seen it in a very, very long time. But I also didn't particularly like it when I did see it because I did find it to be quite unsettling, unnerving. But yeah, Coraline is coming through, so that's interesting. All right, Pisces, let's get into it. I don't know why I'm shuffling my other deck already. We're not even near clarifiers. Okay. Bottom of the deck is your challenge. Represents what you're not seeing, what you're not looking at. We've got the Three of Cups. We've got the Ace of Swords, the Ace of Pentacles, and the Ace of Cups is fucking crazy, Pisces. And the Moon. And the Magician. So much major arcana. Pisces, August is looking very powerful for you. Okay, right off the bat. What I think is really interesting about three aces in a challenge is like, it's about your ability to receive. With the Three of Cups here, there might be connections coming in, whether this is like friendships, interpersonal relationships. Three of Cups is like celebration and rejoice. But in a challenge, it also tells me that you are kind of struggling to feel good about the things that are coming in for you. You know, Ace of Swords is communication, Ace of Pentacles is money, and Ace of Cups is love. We're looking great, Pisces. I am a Pisces, so this is looking great to me. But I do feel like it is going to be kind of like a test of reception, you know? Are you willing to open up your arms and your world to the things that you are asking for here? Are you willing to, the way my guides are giving this to me is like create space. I just spit. I'm so sorry. I'm very Italian. Or like cut out space in your world for the things that you're asking for. So let's get into it. You start in your current energies with the Knight of Wands, Pisces. So what I think is interesting is you're kind of coming out of the gate swinging in August. The Knight of Wands is literally a card of getting on our horse, running in, and just kind of like swing the wand around and hoping we hit something. It is a little bit of like throw your shit against the wall and see what sticks. So it does kind of feel like right off the bat, you're coming in a little bit hot in August. There may be, the way I'm hearing it is like some matters that are going to like really like urgently require your attention. Excuse me, but it feels like you may not feel very well equipped. I'm getting a lot of like throat chakra stuff right now. Like as I'm trying to get into this energy, it's like I keep getting like I need to clear my throat. Maybe you're gonna have to speak up for yourself. Maybe there's gonna be some like uncomfortable conversations that come in again that you may have trouble navigating here because your crossing card, which is either a help or a hindrance, is the Ten of Swords. So it feels like I always tell my clients and my collectives that the universe works in equity. And so what I mean by that is, let's say you order a new living room couch. I always use that as the example. You order this new living room couch and it gets delivered, but you don't get rid of the old living room couch. where's the new one going? The universe works in equity. If you want that thing, the universe is going to tell you that you have to give up something. 10 of Swords is kind of like a messy ending. It's the ending of a long, bitter cycle. Okay? So it feels like for some of you, probably more like for a lot of you here, this is going to be a test of like, are you willing to get rid of something that's taking up space that you don't need to make room for what you do want? And it feels like it may come through a conversation or some sort of interaction with that Knight of Wands again, where I almost feel like you're going to be a little bit careless here, Pisces. I'd be a little bit careful of like what you say when this comes around. This feels like a conversation for someone. You know, like you're going to say something to someone that I feel like, ooh, Ace of Swords. Like I said, Ace of Swords is a conversation. It's communication that can be a little bit rough. You know, I feel like you are kind of coming from a place of the word I'm hearing is rigidity. Yeah, you've got the Hermit in the reverse and the Ace of Pentacles in the reverse. This is going to be really specific. Some of you could be moving into some sort of like communal living, or like changing your living arrangements, but it's going to involve being with like multiple people, because the Hermit in reverse is like not being alone, like not doing something alone. And then the Ace of Pentacles in the reverse is like a loss of money, or like feeling like you're losing money here. So it feels like for some of you Pisces, there may be a living situation that changes in August. And it may look like maybe with rigidity, you're being a little rigid because now you have to live with other people. Like maybe now you are cohabitating as opposed to like singular habitating. And I feel like for some of you, it's a little bit uncomfortable here, you know, is really what I want to say here. Or if you're used to, let's say you lived with your family your whole life, but then you get a roommate, you know, you have to like learn how to live with someone, especially if it's like a new person. And it feels like, Pisces, I would caution you a little bit. I'm hearing it again. Do not come out of the gates swinging, babe. You need to make room, yes, for what you want, but you want to make sure you're not doing it in a very overly abrasive way. Okay, you don't want to just kind of like come out with like fists blazing. And you know, the way I'm hearing it is like, you don't torch a bridge unless it's necessary. You know, like if you've decided, if you're dealing with like really toxic people, really harmful people, and the only other option for you here is to torch the bridge, torch it, babe. Do what you have to do. But if this is like people you still want to maintain friendly sort of relations with, I would be very careful about how you go about this, okay? Because in your headspace, you've got the Wheel of Fortune, which I think is really interesting, because the Wheel of Fortune is divine intervention. It's the universe kind of stepping in, your guides stepping in, giving you a hand here. And for a lot of you Pisces, Pisces is a very psychic, it is the psychic sign, you know, very psychic, very intuitive, intuition. And so it feels like for some of you, you already know that, it's like, you know that this is happening. Like you're aware that your guides are kind of stepping in here, or you're aware that you're being assisted here. The name Francine just came through. Francine. Old name, Francine. Yeah, I just heard it really loud. So if you have someone on the other side named Francine, there's probably something in this reading for you. We've got Judgment, the Sun, and the Devil. Pisces, what is going on for you in August? This is like huge energy. You know, your Wheel of Fortune is clarified by the Wheel of Fortune. Let's clock it really quick. 2 separate decks, babe. Double Wheel of Fortune is big fucking energy. But you've got the Wheel of Fortune, the Sun, the Judgment, and the Devil. It feels like for a lot of you, it's almost like you're, how do I say that? Finally seeing a situation for what it is, you know, or like you're with the Devil and the Sun, it's giving me realization. It feels almost like a, ow, sorry, my neck is sore. You know, it feels almost like an aha moment that a lot of you guys are having here. You're kind of like, oh. And with Judgment, I feel like some of you guys, this is a big shift, Pisces, because for some of you, it's like you're realizing that you put up with something for a very, very long time. Okay, that's one of five. You could have four siblings. You could be one of five. Um, but it's like you've put up with something for a really long time. And I think you're finally seeing it for what it is and not what you wanted it to be. You know, this is a very strong, I can't shake this feeling of the way my guides are saying this is kind of funny. I was just going to say aha moment again. My guides are saying you're like a newborn child. Like you're opening your eyes for the first time and you're like, oh, wait, hold on a minute here. What is this? I feel like a lot of you guys are also recognizing that the way my guides are saying this is like the inherent unfairness of the situation. Like how whatever situation you're kind of caught in here is inherently unfair. The scales are inherently like tipped out of your favor here. And I feel like a lot of you are really now taking your power back and being like, okay, if this is like not going to change, then I'm going to be the one to change it. Because in your physical, you've got the Page of Swords. I feel like a lot of you are really, August is a very productive month for you, Pisces. It feels like a lot of you are taking, like, I want to say physical steps, you know? So, like, if you are relocating, you're, like, physically going and you're touring places, you're interviewing, you're doing something, you know, you're hiring a real estate agent or whatever, you know, you're taking the steps, to get what you want here. And I feel like it's in a very physical and a very productive way. This doesn't feel like I'm conceptualizing anything anymore. It's like, okay, I conceptualized enough. Now it's time for me to go and do, which I think is really fabulous, Pisces. This is a really positive. Your month is looking really good. I feel like you guys had a really good last month reading too as well. I feel like you've just been on a roll here. Just two? Okay. Two cards came out. My guides were like, no more. Okay. Three of Cups, Four of Pentacles. Okay. Some of you are moving in secret. Interesting. Some of you, it feels like with this Three of Cups, that's, again, Three of Cups is like friends, people around you, interpersonal connections. But the Four of Pentacles is holding back. It's not really revealing all our cards. It feels like for some of you here, for those of you that are moving in secret, I feel like you do have a very big green light. I do feel like you should be moving a little bit in silence right now is what I want to say here. I feel like some of you, this is going to be very specific, so please only take it if it resonates. The move is kind of generating evil eyes for you. It feels like people are going to see you doing this. Maybe it is the people you are walking away from, and they're going to be kind of like annoyed by it, is what I want to say. You've got the King of Swords on the bottom of the deck. So like I said, some very rough, masculine air energy coming in to kind of, for lack of a better way to put this, Pisces, fuck with you a little bit. It feels like this is going to be someone who's very opinionated, very argumentative. This is someone, a King of Swords, especially in a challenge, is like, a challenge is essentially a card in reverse. And a King of Swords in reverse is not a friendly character. This is someone who says something because they know it's going to hurt you. This is someone who's very abrasive with their words. They're like, why are you wearing that? You look stupid. First of all, why are you talking to me like that? I feel like a lot of you guys are... It's interesting with the Ten of Wands here because it's depicted as a straitjacket, so you could be being held captive by this person, and which is like why you are looking to move away here. But it feels like for a lot of you guys, you need to definitely move in silence. You need to definitely be very picky with who you tell your plans to, because it feels like some of these evil eyes may create some speed bumps for you. Like it feels like there's a little bit of a... Because the way I'm hearing it is like, you know, when you hit a bump and then your car hits the ground and it's like that, like that's what I'm hearing, like like the ba-dump, but it's like more metal, you know, it's not a great sound. And it's what I keep hearing. So I have to tell you, be very careful with the information that you're sharing in the physical world. Okay. In your past here, you've got the Nine of Swords. This is anxiety, insomnia, sleepless nights. For some of you, this is kind of funny. For some of you, you need to work on your sleep schedule, I'm hearing. Because for some of you, you don't work overnights, but you sleep as if you work overnights. For others of you, again, okay, this could be very specific. For others of you, you do work overnights, is like what my guides are giving me. And you may be looking to change that. You know, this is the past, so maybe you've already changed it here. But let's see. Let me get my clarifiers out. It's a couple of different stories coming through for you guys, as always. There's a lot of people in the collective. Everyone's story is different. I think it's so funny, Pisces, that your cards are repeating. The Nine of Swords clarified by the Nine of Swords. Are we for real? Anxiety for sure. Page of Swords in the reverse. And the Knight of Cups in the reverse? Yeah, I feel like for a lot of you here, like with this Page of Swords in the reverse and the Knight of Cups in the reverse, for those of you that did work overnights at some point or another, you are realizing that you kind of didn't want to anymore. You know, there's no real, like, beautiful way to say that, or eloquent way to say that. You know, I feel like this is just a matter of a lot of you guys worked nights and then we're just like, okay, yeah, like this fucking sucks. I don't want to do it anymore. Or like, obviously not a lot of you could be working nights, but some of you definitely were. And I feel like you kind of, it's like you just kind of outgrew it here, you know, like, because the way I'm hearing it, yeah, Hierophant, but it's in your challenge again. It's like the money's not worth it, is what I just heard. You know, I think in most professions, I could be so wrong, correct me in the comments if I am, but in a lot of professions, you get like a night differential for working nights. You know, and I feel like some of you with the Hierophant here and the Two of Pentacles, like I said, with Justice, you're like, the money wasn't worth it. Where does, wow, I think I just stroked out there. The money wasn't worth it, okay, for the work that you were doing. And I feel like this kind of leads you into your future here because you have the Queen of Cups. So love to see that, Pisces, showing up as yourself in your own energy, feminine, water energy, very like emotionally. The word I just heard was resigned, which I think is interesting because that's not usually something I associate with the Queen of Cups, resignation. You could be emotionally resigned here. Maybe you're resigned to leaving this behind. Maybe you're resigned to walking away, you know, but I feel like a lot of you are showing up in a very healthy light for yourself, being very emotionally independent. You're letting the way I'm hearing it is like, you're letting your heart kind of show you where true north is. You know, you're like, oh, I'm going to go that way. You know, that's what's calling to me. So like, that's what I'm going to do here. Which I think is really positive. But this kind of feels like an extension, like I said, of like what happened in the near past here for you. Feels like you're kind of taking that and you're running with it. Like, oh, I can advocate for myself. Oh, I can walk away. Oh, I can do these things. Knight of Swords really wants to fall out. Some of you might be like debating between going very fast and taking your time. Yeah, Eight of Cups, Three of Wands, and the Ten of Wands in the reverse now. Like I said, remember how the Ten of Wands came up in when we were talking about that King of Swords, but now it's in the reverse. It was originally upright. It feels like a lot of you guys are freeing yourself here. And I feel like with this Eight of Cups, as well as the Three of Wands, like I said, you're kind of in this place of, do I move fast or do I not? I feel like this is going to be different for all of you, of course, but the way my guides are giving things to me is like, you need to look at whether or not you have the tools to go as fast as you want. You know, like if I could have, it took us like over 6 months to be able to find a house that we could get here in Pennsylvania. If I had left and ran as fast as I wanted to after 3 months, I would have literally been living in a hotel for like 3 months. You know, that's not conducive. That's not helpful. For a lot of you guys, you're in that sort of scenario here where you're like, okay, I want to run. I need to get away from this now. But it's almost like, don't quit your job without a backup. You know, don't kind of shoot yourself in the foot here. Make sure all your T's are crossed, your I's are dotted, your ducks are in a row, and you have the ability to move the way that you want to move in the speed in which you want to do. To ensure success here. That's really how this feels. Like it's like a don't take the water off before it boils kind of moment for you, Pisces. Like don't rush. Okay? There's so many different ways I could say that. Don't rush this decision and don't rush to your next destination here. Okay. But it does feel very, very positive. It feels overtly positive. Like this is a very good change for you to make. And some of you, I'm hearing you're worried about it. Don't worry about it. I know that's like not a great piece of advice. Because you're like, oh, well, like, you know, don't worry about the basis of the decision here is what I'll say. Let me fix that. We can worry about how we need to get there. We're going to worry about the things like that, like the more like technical things, but the basis of your decision, I feel like some of you are worried about it because you're like, oh, am I making the right decision? Am I doing the right thing here? First of all, I will tell you, Pisces, I don't believe in right or wrong decisions anymore. I used to, but something that I worked on over years for myself, which I will give to you, is that when we think of a right or wrong decision, we're putting a lens of judgment over said decision, okay? That creates feelings such as shame and regret, which are not organic feelings. Shame and regret are felt because someone looks at us, points at us, and tells us to feel them, okay? You have to remember that by removing that lens of judgment, removing the idea of a right and wrong decision, alleviates any sort of shame and guilt you can feel. Nowadays, how I make decisions is I say, okay, this feels like it aligns with me. I'm going to make that decision. I'm going to walk that path. And guess what? 3, 4, 5, 6 months down the line, maybe I decide, you know what, this actually doesn't align with me anymore. And I make a new decision and I walk a new path. Okay? A lot of you guys need to stop judging and like stop worrying about the basis of your decision and instead just kind of roll with it. Okay? You made the decision, just go. Okay? Because even how you're viewing yourself right now is the fool. Babe, you're ready. I don't know who needs to hear that, but you are ready. Okay? You are ready. Whatever this is, whatever the jump is, the leap of faith, the let go and let God, you can do it here, babe. You are confident and you are capable and you have the ability to do this. Okay? Ace of Wands, you're passionate. You know, let your passions speak for you. Let them guide you. Queen of Wands, Ace of Wands. Babe, you got to step into some bad bitch energy in August. Okay? Queen of Wands, Ace of Wands? That's bad bitch energy. Okay? Queen of Wands, high self-esteem, high boundaries, high self-worth. Okay? She's motivated. She's passionate. She's fiery. She goes out and she gets what she wants. Obviously, I'm saying she, but anyone can be. Gender and energy don't have a place, okay, with one another. But, and with that Ace of Wands, that's new passion. That's a new adventure. That's new excitement, okay? A lot of you guys need to step into this energy. You need to step into a very fiery, passionate, go-getter, I'm going to chase it down kind of energy, because even your superpower is the Emperor, okay? You're embracing, like, how do I say this? It's kind of funny how my guys are giving this to me. You're embracing the divine masculine, but you're doing it through the lens of the feminine, which I think is really interesting, right? Because when we're talking about how we view the masculine, we're talking about the male, like you think about like the male gaze versus the female gaze. A lot of you are sort of carving a place out for yourself with masculinity as your superpower, but you're doing it in a very feminine way, if that makes sense for you. It feels like a lot of you, you're playing with gender here, playing with gender roles, but like in a really positive way. You know, you're going out and you're the Emperor is the divine masculine, so that is that energy of I'm going to go out and I'm going to get it. I'm not waiting anymore. But it feels like you're doing it from a place of feminine empowerment, if that makes sense for you. It's a very positive reading. King of Swords, you have decisions to make here, babe. Like I said, the Lovers and the Page of Pentacles. The Lovers is known as the choice card. And I literally just told you you have decisions. Decisions always come with choices. Okay? King of Swords and the Lovers. The way my guides are giving this to me is don't stutter. Interesting. When I think of don't stutter, I think of like when someone says something to you and you say something back and they're like, huh? And you're like, I didn't stutter. that's where I feel like some of your energy needs to be here, Pisces, in August. Like, a lot of you guys need to, let's say you go on a job interview and they're like, oh, hey, like, we want to start you at 50K. And you're like, oh, really? Because the men in this department are making 70K. And they're like, what? And you're like, I didn't stutter. You either match me or I'm gone. That's like the kind of energy, Pisces, that you need to have. It's that very, like I said, Queen of Wands. It's that fiery. It's very like a, for lack of a better way to put it, like, don't fuck with me kind of energy. Okay? You know, it's like you're coming from this from you're coming at this from an angle of like being educated, being passionate, being ready. And I really feel like that's your literal ticket to success this month, okay? I mean, I can't make it up. Your hope is Queen of Wands. Your hope is that you can remain in that energy, that you can remain passionate. The word I also just heard was diligent. Self-discipline, Pisces, is going to be strong for August for you. Okay? Make sure you are staying disciplined. You are staying on the route that you want to be on. Okay? For example, I'll give you guys, I am a Pisces. I said that already. I bought a planner recently. My entire August is planned out already. I know what's going on every single day. Obviously, minus clients, because clients book from a week to week basis. Okay. But I know when I have an event, when I'm making a YouTube video, when I'm going to the doctor, when I'm seeing a friend. It's all planned there. Stay diligent and stay determined, Pisces. Okay. That's another part of your success here in August. Queen of Wands, please. Thank you. King of Pentacles, Eight of Pentacles, Eight of Wands. Interesting. For a lot of you, this will translate into work as well. You know, staying steady at work and giving yourself, for some of you, like if you're business owners or if you can decide your own hours, you know, giving yourself those steady hours, mapping it out for you is going to be really, really important here. The way my guides are giving this to me also is like very divisive. What do you mean by divisive? Oh, okay, thank you. What they're giving me is like, it's going to create a world where it's going to be obvious what doesn't fit anymore. When they say divisive, like when I think of divisive, I think of like we're kind of split down the middle and we're like disagreeing about something. But what my guides mean here is they're saying like your schedule and staying on something that is like very concrete and very, for lack of a better way to put this, scheduled and organized is going to be divisive, because you're going to see what isn't really made for you. Okay, like what's in my world right now that's not feeding me? What's in my world right now that doesn't fit into my schedule anymore? And how do I pack it up and get rid of it? Okay, I feel like it's going to be a very big eye-opening month for you in August, Pisces. This is looking so good, babe, okay? Because even your outcome is the Queen of Pentacles. I love the Queen of Pentacles. This is a mom card. If you've been in my collectives at all or listened to any of my cards ever, any of my readings ever, we talk about the mom wound a lot, and we talk about the divine feminine wound. But this, to me, Pisces, feels like your August is very... You're really stepping into like a very divine mother role for yourself here. You know, I feel like you're keeping yourself very structured. You're keeping everything very stable. This is a really, really good looking month for you. Queen of Pentacles also, like for those of you that are starting a business or starting an endeavor, a creative project or something that's getting off the ground, grassroots. Queen of Pentacles is like a grassroots cards for me. It's also, you're raising everything, you're nurturing everything, you know, you're creating the world that you want to live in, you're creating the existence for yourself that you've craved. And I feel like with that Queen of Pentacles, again, it's really positive. Okay, like I feel like you're really focused. That's so funny, my guy just said, what do the kids say these days? They're locked in. You could be locked in here, babe. I don't know, like I feel like you're kind of like, okay, like super focused. Queen of Wands, excuse me, Queen of Pentacles, please. Okay, interesting. Throwing me a curveball. take it. Okay. For a lot of you also, you're going to need to make sure that your armor is on this month. Okay? Pisces is a very emotional sign, and I need you to understand that actions have consequences. Okay? Even actions that are good for us, when we are aligned with ourselves, when we are doing our best, they are going to elicit a little bit of a negative response from people that don't want to see us succeed. Okay? 8 of Swords, 7 of Wands, Knight of Wands, Queen of Cups. I want you guys to really focus in on, during all of this, the rejection wound. Okay? When we have a wound about rejection, we're kind of telling on ourselves a little bit, because what we're saying is, well, I've already rejected myself. Okay, a lot of you guys here fear rejection, especially in this realm of like you popping off and doing what's best for you and being really successful and really happy. It brings along this very deep-rooted fear for a lot of you guys here of like, well, what if someone doesn't like this? What am I going to do then? You need to, the way my guides are saying this is really funny, master the art of not giving a fuck what they think or what they're saying to you, okay? This is like one of those times, Pisces, where we all know this, but not everyone is going to cheer for us, okay? Not everyone is going to be happy and excited for us, and you need to be able to, you know, I always think of Jinx Monsoon. She's a drag queen, and in her season, she keeps saying, she's on RuPaul's Drag Race, she kept saying, like, water off a duck's back. I always think of that when it comes to things like this. You have to be able to take it with a grain of salt, okay? Do you know how many people have said to me in the past, like, you know, oh, you're too tattooed. Oh, you know, back when I had nails, your nails are too long. Okay, people are always going to have an opinion about you. They're always going to have a critique about you. But if you are showing up authentically and you are living your best life in the most authentic way possible, that's empowering. That's something that they don't have. That's why they're picking on you. Spoiler alert. Okay, it's jealousy, but it's also resentment. Okay? Pisces, for a lot of you, I'm going to really reiterate it again. Put your armor on, okay? But also don't stop just because people may not like what you're doing. It doesn't matter. As long as you are happy and content with what you are doing, and you are not actively, maliciously hurting people, they don't have a leg to stand on here, babe. Okay? All right. Water off a duck's back. You just got to keep saying that to yourself. Water off a duck's back. All right. Let's get you guys an oracle card. I am using the Angelarium. It is my absolute favorite oracle deck. If you've seen any reading from me, literally ever, I use this all the time. Reads us to filth. It is a reimagining of the falling of the angels. So, let's see. Can I get a card for Pisces monthly? What does Pisces need for the month of August, please? What's their advice? That was fast. Thank you. Cithariel, Angel of Deception. I told y'all. There's some haters. There's some haters in the area. All right, let's get this. Let's read it. It is number 21 for those of you that numerology is important. 21. Okay. Drawing this card is an opportunity to consider the ways in which you might deceive others and the ways in which you might deceive yourself. The masks we wear may shield us from the harshness of the world around us, but they also function as a gateway to descend into roles that shade our authentic selves from the conscious mind. Be wary of the stories you tell about yourself. Okay? This card always reminds me that the stories that we tell, what they're talking about here is the ego, putting that ego up, right? If we are insulting ourselves, if we are pre-abandoning ourselves, judging ourselves, all of this stuff, that's an ego issue. We're doing something to protect ourselves, and that, what we're putting forward, that strong persona of like, oh, haha, like if you think, this is such a funny example my guides want me to give. Pitch Perfect, Fat Amy. She's like, oh, I do it so, like, I call myself Fat Amy, so thin bitches like you don't do it behind my back. That's what this is talking about. That persona that she has, it shades her true self and masks her from consciously being able to interact with her subconscious self. Okay? Be very careful about what you say about yourself, what you believe about yourself, and the ways in which you deceive yourself. All right? Pisces, I will leave that there for you. August is looking absolutely bussin' for you guys. I'm so excited, and not just because I'm also a Pisces. But if this reading resonated with you, or if my reading style resonates with you, do consider liking and subscribing. We are on the way to 200 subscribers. So exciting. If you guys would like to interact with me on a live basis, I do go live 3 days a week on Twitch. You can find me Wednesday and Friday from 6 to 8 p.m. EST, as well as Saturday from 4 to 6 p.m. EST. I do have a Discord server that you guys are more than welcome to join. You can find that through Twitch. It's where I post updates about if the stream schedule is changing or anything like that. But yes, Pisces, that is what I got for you guys. I hope to see you over on Twitch one of these days. And if not, it's okay. I will see you in the next video. Bye.